Well, I don't know why this came to mind, but I remember dating a woman years ago, and we've been on a couple of dates, and I remember picking her up for our date that day, and then we went to eat and walked out to the lake, and it was right there where she decided to tell me, I don't think this is going to work between us. One reason being our difference in politics. And right there, as she said it, I just pushed her in the lake. No, I'm just joking. I just left her.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
Okay. I'm too nice. I did take her home, so I let me just say that. But this is Trent Chat, and I'm your host, Brian Bledsoe. And if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. I'm starting to forget them all, but it's all the same name, at Trend Chat 24/7. So, like I said, I don't know why that came to mind right when I started this the press record, but anyway, yeah, that was, I don't know why I thought about that, mainly because I guess I went to the Rockwall County GOP dinner, and it was in that area, so I guess that's why it came to mind. That was a couple of days ago. Anyway, again, this is Trend Chat. I appreciate you listening. Like I said, we're on trendchat247.com and also most popular podcast outlets. Thanks for listening. Share it with your friends, subscribe, all that jazz. So we're in Virginia tonight as we are on the road to CPAC for the 5th year. And we should get there. We'll get to DC, in the DC area, sometime tomorrow. And we'll be there for the next 4 days. And, looking forward to, in many ways, I guess you call it a vacation, even though it's, to be honest, with all the interviews I tend to do, it's one of the busiest times for the podcast, because if I have so many interviews and I have to edit them and all that, anyway, you don't care about all that. But it's just the busiest time, but it's also the most fun time. So, like I said, we should get there tomorrow, and we'll be around. So if you're listening to this, and if you see me, say hi, I guess. And yeah, we'll be there the whole 3 days. Yeah. Trying to think. Yeah. Well, yeah, essentially 3 days, because there's something on tomorrow on Wednesday, but yeah, so we'll be there the whole time. But as I mentioned in the previous episodes, we are at the end of our candidate series, at least for right now. And our last candidate is Jon Francis, who is running for the Texas House in the 60th district. So we'll have the interview with him. Also, early voting is still going on in other states, but especially in Texas. And so if you haven't, you still have opportunity to go early vote to the 28th in Texas. And then if you don't make it, then you will have to wait till March 3rd for the primary. So we'll have the interview with him. And I was like, let me just play it right now. So you know what? That being said, I think I am. So after a word from the Founding Project, we'll get to our interview with Jon.
Hello to fans of Trend Chat and Brian Bledsoe. The Founding Project, an education nonprofit dedicated to civics, invites you to visit our brand new website. Visit us at thefoundingproject.com. Be a part of the civics movement with the Founding Project. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
Hey everyone, this is Lucia Scaramacchia and you are listening to Trend Chat.
Hello, this is Trend Chat, and we are very pleased to have Jon Francis with us. He is running for the Texas House of Representatives in the 60th District, and we're going to talk with him a little bit about himself and the issues that he's going to be running on. So, how you doing, Jon?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thank you for having me.
So, well, I guess first thing, just for people that don't know, where is the 60th District?
So it's 8 counties, and it's Brown and Coleman and Callahan and Stevens County, Shackelford, Hood, Eastland, and Palo Pinto. And anyway, just super excited to be in this race. And this is one of the most conservative districts in the state of Texas, and frankly, what that means is that it's one of the most conservative districts in the entire nation. And it's where my wife and I have made our home for over 20 years. We live in Cisco, Texas. And this is where we raised our family. We've been, like I said, been here for over 20 years.
Okay. I guess just tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to run.
Yeah, so Brian, the first thing you need to know about me is that the most important thing is that I'm a man of faith. My relationship with my Savior is number one. I've got a terrific family. I've been married to the same woman, beautiful woman, for 27 years. We live right here in Cisco, been here for over 20 years. In fact, my wife was born and raised here in Cisco. And anyway, but we have 4 children together. The oldest 2 are out of the house. In fact, my oldest daughter is 23. She just got married about 3 months ago. So I know what it feels like to have a son-in-law now, and the good news is that he's a pretty good fella. And my oldest son is 22, and he's madly in love and decided to move up to Illinois temporarily. He's chasing a girl. She's actually my pastor's daughter, real good gal. And I told him, I said, Isaac, I said, it's one of the most important things you'll ever do is find the right woman. And I told him, so I support what you're doing moving up there, but I said, on one condition. And he said, what's that? And I said, well, you better not end up in Illinois permanently. And he said, oh, no. He said, this is a rescue mission, he told me. So I thought that was a great response. And of course, my wife and I were super happy to hear that. But, so my youngest daughter is, 18. She's a senior at Cisco High School. And then I got a son that's, 13 years old. He's in the 7th grade. But like I said, we've lived here, the entire time that we've been raising our family right here in Cisco. It's like I said, it's the best place to raise a family. And we're just super proud to be here. Anyway, but let's see, what else? So I've been, we've been going to the same church for 27 years, and I help with our church. I'm on the security team, and also I'm on the worship team. I play the trumpet. I've been playing the trumpet for about 43 years now. I'm almost 51. I started playing when I was 8, and anyway, so that's a little bit of the kind of the background of who I am. And you asked about what was the reason that kind of inspired me to run. And our family and myself, we've been involved really actively kind of behind the scenes for a long time, politically and also in charitable giving. And, anyway, but, I got kind of irritated, actually, because I found out some things that, for the longest time, we voted, of course, but I wasn't really involved politically. And what happened was I discovered that the representatives that we had, in this district previously, I found out that his actual voting record didn't match up with what he was saying when he was back in the district. And this was about 5 years ago. So that was actually whenever Mike Lang decided to run for the first time, and we got behind Mike because, Mike is a conservative, and we just really appreciated that. But about 3.5 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago now, Mike decided to not run for re-election. And it was only after that I decided that I was going to consider, running, and that I went ahead and got in the race. And the reason I did that was because this is one of the most conservative districts in Texas. And by the way, I'm so proud to say that also means that we are one of the most, conservative districts in the entire nation. And I just feel like that we deserve and we need a conservative representative that's actually going to stand up for our values and actually fight for our values. And I'm proud to tell you that I am absolutely a conservative warrior, and I've got a record to prove it. It's true, I've been kind of behind the scenes working, and I'll give you a couple examples. So, I was actually, our family decided to get behind Senator Ted Cruz in the presidential elections. And so from about 2015 to 2016, I was actually running one of the official Ted Cruz super PACs, and just gave enormous, there was just a lot to learn in that, but it was so eye-opening to be involved in. You hear people say, well, you jumped in the deep end. I didn't just jump in the deep end. I jumped in the ocean on that one. And it was pretty eye-opening. And I, like I said, we were 100% behind Senator Cruz. He's a great guy. But, at the end of the primary, when Donald Trump won, we got behind Donald Trump, and, we voted. But, to be honest about it, we were kind of concerned. We didn't really know him. And he didn't have a track record as a politician, which, we were just wanting to make sure that Hillary Clinton got nowhere near a seat of power. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm just thrilled every day that I wake up that Hillary Clinton is not my president and that Donald Trump is my president. And it didn't take long for us to figure out that Donald Trump is not only just worthy of our vote, but we became ardent supporters of his, and I have absolutely just been amazed at how much he's actually gotten done. He's gotten more done as a conservative president than bar none, any president that we've ever had, including Ronald Reagan. I'm amazed at the amount of things that he's been able to get done. And I'm probably going to have to answer, for this to my creator at some point because of the amount of joy that I get from, he does something and then the leftist heads, they just explode, and he does something on a Monday and their heads explode. And I'm sitting back just watching this and it's just enjoying it. And then on Tuesday, he does it again, something different, and their heads explode. And by Wednesday, he does something else and their heads are exploding. But they've kind of forgotten about Monday because it's out of the news cycle. And he's just been so unbelievably great at just keeping up the pressure on these people. And I've learned so much from just watching him. I was in Granbury the other day and somebody asked me, hey, what are you going to do when the newspaper there, it's kind of leftist, and what are you going to do when they start to, say bad things about you? And I said, here's the bottom line. I know who I am and I know what I stand for. I'm going to do what's right. And I really could care less what they say because I know the perspective they're coming from, and I'm just going to do what's right.
Yeah. I would agree with you, especially in how the liberals react. It is just endless entertainment. So seeing them react.
Well, it's entertainment, and it's kind of scary at the same time because I went to bed that night whenever the presidential election happened, and I went to bed early because I was just depressed. I literally thought we just lost our country, And I believe it. I think that if Hillary Clinton had won that night, we would have been, can you imagine where we would be? It's just terrifying. So I was so happy to wake up that next morning and, discover that and that was the beginning, by the way, of the mask of the leftist media being ripped off by Donald Trump. And I think that more than anything has been so valuable for this nation to be able to see behind the mask that they've been putting on and actually see who they are. I think that is one thing that I am so grateful to Donald Trump for doing, and I think it's going to have long-lasting impact.
Yeah, that kind of, I guess to go into your priorities, and one of those things is kind of what you've been talking about just in the past couple of minutes is, supporting President Trump in his efforts.
Absolutely.
And,
go ahead.
Oh yeah, and well, I was just gonna mention that because you've already talked about that, and just going on to other issues that you're running on, because I saw that your first priority is to defend the unborn, and also in looking in your bio and seeing that you've been chairing on the board of directors of Live Action, which is a organization I'm familiar with, which I'm an ambassador for Live Action, and have been definitely been a fan of theirs, and enjoy working with them whenever I can. So
absolutely.
What would you look to do?
I was going to say Lila Rose is an absolute rock star in the pro-life space, and I was so grateful to be able to be on her board for a couple of years, and she is absolutely phenomenal. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh, no. Oh, I was just going to say, so with that as one of your priorities, actually, what would you look to do as far as to achieving that?
Well, I've got a set, I've never been a politician. I've never been elected to office, but I do have a set of core principles, and they include, pro-life and pro-Second Amendment, and, and by the way, those two issues are at the top of my list, but they're really one issue. And the way I think about those two issues is it has to do with the protection of the innocent. So pro-life is protection of the innocent, and pro-Second Amendment is also the protection of the innocent, in that, the whole purpose of the Second Amendment, it had nothing to do with hunting. It had nothing to do with sport, anything to do with other than protection of individuals from our government. In other words, from government tyranny, and also from the tyranny of individuals that might be wicked. I mean, we just saw the example of this in White Settlement with Jack Wilson. By the way, I met Jack at a meet and greet. It was actually the very first meet and greet that I was at in Granbury. And, I'm there at this meet and greet, and he was asking me, I had no idea who he was. Literally just met him. This was like the week before Christmas. So it was on the Monday before Christmas. And then that next Sunday was when he took out that evil man at his church. And so, he was asking me, what's your opinion of the Second Amendment? What's your opinion of, do you support constitutional carry? And we had a discussion about the fact that we're both on the church security teams at our churches. And so it was really a surreal moment to wake up, to see that happen. So I got home, that Sunday night, and I saw the video. But of course I couldn't really, I didn't know it was Jack. And like I said, I just met him 6 days earlier. And the next morning I saw his picture, and I told my wife, I said, Jody, I kind of scared her, startled her, and she says, what? And I said, that was the guy that I met at that meet and greet in Granbury last Monday night. And it was just kind of surreal to know that, it is just that close. In other words, our security team at our church, it's like 25 guys strong, and we have teams of 5, and we rotate so that each one of us, none of the teams have to do it more than one weekend at a time. Not that we're not all carrying. We are still all carrying, but we're not kind of on duty, if that makes any sense. But we train together. Well, Jack and I talked about the importance of making sure that you can actually hit the target. And I told him, I said, it's so important to be able to handle your firearm effectively. We have the right to bear arms, but we need to make sure, we have a duty to make sure that we're proficient. And anyway, we just had a good discussion about it. I'm so very proud of that man. And nobody wants to have to go through that, but thank goodness he was where he was when he was there, and had the proficiency to do it.
And going in the line of your priorities, and you kind of touched on a couple of them already, and there's one that I see that I haven't touched on with other interviews that I want to ask you, that you have to stop intimate domain abuses for farmers and ranchers. And so I just kind of want to know why is that a priority, and what you look to do.
It's a problem for our district, And, here's the problem. The encroachment of government on individuals is prevalent in all, so it's not just prevalent in the federal realm, it's not just prevalent in the state realm, but it's also local. And so people are, it's a big problem to be able to keep government within its proper role. Government is a powerful entity, and that's at federal, state, and local level. They're way more powerful than individuals, which is why it's so important for us as legislators. It's so important for us as just a people to recognize that we got to keep the government within its proper role. And there's so many there are easy ways that people they tyrannize their fellow men by trying to use the power of government in a way that's totally inappropriate. And I feel like that eminent domain is a problem when you have a private individual. I think it's an abomination actually that you would allow one private company to come in and use the power of government to do eminent domain over another individual citizen to their detriment. And so I feel like that our farmers and ranchers have to deal with this all the time, and I feel like that eminent domain has its place, and it has a very small place. And I just feel like that it gets expanded, it gets used way too often in inappropriate ways. And although, like I said, I think there is a place for it, but I feel very strongly that it gets used way too often and in inappropriate ways. And I'm just generally opposed to people using the power of government to enrich themselves at the expense of other citizens. And that's true in every area. So, going back to my priorities. So, overall, general 30,000 foot level, I'm for the protection of the innocent. I'm also for keeping government within its proper boundary. And, I don't know about you, but I don't really feel like that the legislators that we have, I'd like to know why they don't, the very first question out of their mouth when new legislation is presented, is it constitutional? When's the last time you heard anybody ask that question? And by the way, even if it is constitutional, is it necessary? Because maybe it is necessary, maybe it is constitutional, but the question is, should we be doing the things that we're doing in government? And for the most part, the answer is no. So my idea of the role of government, the proper role of government, is that they provide for the common defense and they provide for an adequate judicial system that's fair to everyone. Colorblind, doesn't matter who you are, you ought to be able to rely on a system that's fair and doesn't have winners and losers picked by the government. I think it's wrong. And so anyway, I hope that answers the question about the eminent domain. But I'm passionate about like I said, I've got core values, and I've never been a legislator, so I don't exactly know what issues might come up. But I can tell you that I've got a list. It's kind of just the important questions that I feel like ought to be asked every time. Is it constitutional? Is it necessary? And is it pro-life? And does it reduce the liberties that we as individuals have? And so, people say to me, well, what legislative priorities do you have? And I guess my answer is, I feel like that stopping bad legislation is at least as important as creating new and trying to pass new legislation. So I'll be perfectly happy if I'm able to stop bad legislation and maybe never, actually pass new legislation. I think that it's just as important. Whenever you vote no for something, you're also voting yes for something else. And I'm going to be voting yes for liberty. I'm going to be voting yes for pro-life and yes for protecting our Second Amendment rights. And again, trying to make sure that the government doesn't abuse individual citizens.
Okay. So if people want to know more as far as your campaign and also if they want to help out, I guess,
absolutely.
Let them know your website and social media and all that.
Yeah, so my name is Jon Francis again, and my website, we just got the thing up. And by the way, I've only been doing this for about 3.5, 4 weeks now, because that's when I didn't get into this race until Mike Lang, who is a conservative man that I have a lot of respect for. I'm a Mike Lang supporter, and I would have voted for him, but he decided to get out of the race. But so I've been only doing this for a short period of time, but we did get our website up, and it's votejonfrancis.com. It's votejonfrancis.com. So I'm on Twitter, and I've got so it's Jon Francis, Texas. So what is it? At Jon Francis, Texas. And the situation in this race is that, there are 4 people total in the race, myself and 3 others. And the truth is that there's not one of us that has much, if any, name recognition. And so it's been, we're kind of all in the same boat to be able to get people to, to understand who we are and what the issues are. And I'm an open book. I've been putting my cell number on all of my campaign literature because I want people to feel like that they can call me up and I'll answer the phone and answer any question that they have. But it's important to me for people to just understand who I am and what I stand for. And a lot of the things we're starting to fill out, the website that we have, but I'm on Facebook, and it's just Jon Francis Campaign, is how you can find me on Facebook. And I've been posting all kinds of stuff and, videos and the endorsements that I've gotten. And by the way, I'm proud of the endorsements that I've gotten. And these are from people that know me personally and can vouch for the fact that I've been actively, pursuing, trying to, promote Judeo-Christian values and promote conservative values and promote free market principles. And, one of the very first endorsements that I got right out of the gate was from Senator Ted Cruz. Super proud of that. But something that actually just happened here this last week and a half, I got a phone call from Dr. James Dobson, and he has agreed to endorse me. And it's kind of a surreal moment to get a phone call from Dr. Dobson. And anyway, he's just such an amazing man. The guy's in his 80s, and he's just on fire still. I mean, it's just he's like a force of nature. And anyway, I'm super proud to have been endorsed by him. And, but again, all these endorsements that I got an endorsement from Texas Right to Life, for example, and Lila Rose endorsed me personally. And these are things that are important to me because, again, if you don't know me, and like I said, there's hardly any name recognition. I haven't been out in the forefront of the fight. I've been doing it behind the scenes. And so my hope is that, and what I've done is ask people that are on the front line and that other people might recognize, Senator Cruz and Dr. Dobson and Lila Rose and others, Commissioner Sid Miller, for example, endorsed me. And actually Ken Paxton endorsed me too. That's going to come out tomorrow. And so anyway, I've got a lot of people that I know and that have agreed to endorse me because they recognize that I am a conservative warrior, and I've been doing this behind the scenes. And I decided that it's time to take the fight to the front line. And my personality is such that I'm willing and have shown a willingness to stand up and do the right thing, even if I'm the only one.
Well, those some great endorsements, and I wish you all the best in your campaign. I just want to say thank you for your time, and hope to get a chance to talk again soon.
And thank you so much for having me on. I've really appreciated talking to you. And would you mind if I mention my website again and how to get
Sure.
in touch with me? So it's votejonfrancis.com, and again, I'm on Facebook. It's just Jon Francis Campaign. But again, I'm an open book, and I would love to earn your support. And I feel like my job is just to let people know who I am. And I'm hoping that we end up with the most conservative, fighter that's actually fighting for our values, and I am that person. So thank you so much for having me.
Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat, also contributor at Politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at Politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
This is Dana Lash, and you're listening to Trend Chat.
And thanks to John for joining us. And as you just heard the ad from Politichicks, one thing I was able to meet up with Anne Marie Morrell and Morgan Brittany at the Rockwall County GOP dinner recently, and it was always great to see them again. Also, as you heard from Dana Lash, She has a new book out called Grace Counseled. Actually just came out today. So I would say, try to pick it up at wherever books are sold. I know personally I have the audio book as I listen to it on the road, like many other books. It's funny listening to audio books. I guess kind of like, podcasts as well. But, I know one thing when it comes to audio books, like I've listened to Atlas Shrugged a couple of times, and that book is like 61 hours long to listen to. I mean, it's a long book. It's a big book. So, but just looking at it from as far as if you were listening to it, how long it is a lot. I put it this way: the Bible is like 63 hours to go through. So yeah, but Dana's book is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 6 hours. Most audiobooks are in the range of maybe 6, I would say 5 to 8 hours really to listen to. So I can normally listen to one book in one day. Cause normally I drive maybe 6 to 8 hours, maybe, the full 11 hours, and I can just pop that in and listen to the whole book. So yeah, get the book, check it out. And, hopefully we'll get a chance to speak with Dana about the book at CPAC if we get the chance to, if we're in the same area. Cause I tell you, as I mentioned in the beginning, we were on our way to CPAC, and, if you've never been, I mean, for one, we're talking about tens of thousands of people, all in this one area in Oxon Hill, Maryland, which is right outside of DC. But there are all these other events that tend to go on within the convention center, in the resort and all that. And everyone is kind of like spread out. But there's like a media row where even that is pretty big, to where you can miss someone. They could be on one side of the media row and you could be over there. So that's why I was saying something like that. I mean, may run into her and have some time to do an interview or not. So, but, we'll get some interviews, in just talking about CPAC in general. Kind of feel like this probably be the last one for a while. At least won't be coming back again next year, only because we are really focused on going to the March for Life next year in 2021. So, and March for Life and CPAC are around the same time, and so we haven't gone to March for Life because we were really focused on going to CPAC and all that. So this time, like, okay, we just focus on going to March for Life, and if we even go to CPAC, it would like be a last minute thing because our focus is on just making sure we get to the March for Life. So, but yeah, so, again, thanks to Jon for joining us. And also, no, I haven't really mentioned about this only because, about a movie in particular, but I saw that Sonic the Hedgehog movie last week, and I said it's a really good movie. Now, I said that coming from someone who played Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis, back in the day. So I loved it because of that. Because I would say this: if you like the game, you're gonna love the movie because it has all the little nostalgia and everything when it comes to the game. And also, I don't know much about the comic book, but that is in there as well. Now, I will say this about Jim Carrey. I mean, outside of his, very liberal, outspoken views on Twitter with all his drawings and everything, and basically disparaging anybody who is a Republican or conservative. Outside of that, to separate from that, he does a great job. it is, as I've heard many times, it is vintage Jim Carrey. This is Ace Ventura, Liar Liar Jim Carrey. And it's very, he's really funny in it. Given if you could separate all the stuff he's been spewing in the past couple of years, especially, politically. But yeah, it's a good movie. I'll say check it out. Even if you're not a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, don't even know who I'm talking about. It's a good family movie to watch. So I would say for that reason. But yeah, I don't, I may go see it again if I got nothing else to do during CPAC after it's over at night. I might go there because I noticed our hotel is like across the street from a movie theater, and that's very tempting. Whenever I'm near a movie theater, I'm very tempted to just go over there. That being said, like I mentioned about CPAC, there are a lot of different events. So there are the Reagan Palooza, which is on Saturday, which is pretty much after everything is over with CPAC. I know I'll be going there, and then Turning Point USA has their event, which is at the beginning of CPAC on Thursday night, called America Fest. So I'll probably go to that. And there's plenty of other things as well. When you get there, people be handing out little flyers. Hey, we're having this thing at this suite in this place. And so, yeah. So there's not a lack of, of activities if you want it. But, for one thing, it can get tiring. So for someone, if you're listening to this and you've never been to CPAC and you're going for the first time right now, I would say pace yourself. Cause I know the first time I went, you can get exhausted really quick with all the stuff that is going on, with all the speeches, during the day. And then you have the other breakout sessions and other stuff that's going on. Then, like I said about the media role and people doing interviews there, people, people you probably been following on social media or whatnot, they're probably there, and you'll see all sorts of people in different areas and all that together. And then if you do that during the day and then top that off by going out afterwards to all the events, at night and everything, it can drain you. So I'm just letting you know, if you're listening to this, just, don't tire yourself out in the first day. So before we go, just want to give a shout out to TrumpMug.com. I know we talked about that in the interview. So all sorts of Trump centric gear, mugs, of course, flags, coins, stamps. The stamps, I tell you, there's a little stamp on the site where you can stamp on, $20 bill or whatever, saying, Trump lives here or whatever like that. And no, it's not defacing and whatnot. It is legal. So, but yeah, all sorts of stuff like that on TrumpMug.com. And if you put in the code TrendChat, you can get 10% off on your purchase. So TrumpMug.com, promo code TrendChat, get 10% off. So that'll be the end for this episode. I appreciate everyone listening. Like I said, this is on TrendChat247.com, if that's where you're listening. Wherever across the globe. Again, we're always so kind of surprised to know that people are listening across the globe, but we are thankful for you. And again, we'd like to hear from those international listeners, as far as, in particular, everyone can send us a message at TrendChat247.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, all that. So thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, we'll chat with you later.